Hello and welcome to the Cloud Council. I'm Andrew Brinded. I'm pleased to be joined firstly by Louise McCarthy, who is a Business Transformation Director. I'm also joined by Mark Aikman, who is a Digital Transformation Consultant. Thinking specifically about public cloud at the moment, we've seen this heavy pivot that's gone on to public cloud. Now, normally when people invest this way, they think about where's data going to be located, what to do about security, what to do about cost. I've been talking to one particular bank that 6 years ago, they had I want to be cloud first in my strategy. And then now they've got 5% of their applications have got onto the public cloud. But now we're seeing this heavy pivot. How do companies do that, but still make sure they've done the appropriate checks and balances around those things like data location, security, cost, etc.?
Yeah, I think so. 2 points on this. I think I've worked with businesses and done big transformations where cloud just simply, the board will not tolerate a cloud-based solution. Simple as, they've got concerns, as you mentioned, over data security, whatever it may be. And you can't force a company to do something they don't want to do, especially if they don't see the benefits. The flip side to that is you've got obviously large companies who have got a mixture, kind of a heritage of on-prem solutions, some cloud solutions, some software as a service solutions, and I think obviously and that's probably the case for a lot of large companies. That's probably the reality of it, and I think for me, cloud has obviously matured massively over the last number of years. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of mistrust around cloud, around obviously data and security and all that kind of good stuff. I think the other big mistake, which a lot of companies I think they do, is try to replicate their on-prem, services and servers and storage into the cloud. My advice would be, if you're going to go down the cloud route and fast, use the expertise provided by these suppliers. No one better than they to kind of give you that assurance. And of course, concerns around data security, around availability, around all of that kind of good stuff. I think if you go to a reputable cloud provider, a lot of those concerns have now been addressed or can be addressed. Obviously, there's always a technology solution to a number of things, and you can obviously increase and tune up the where you feel there's concerns. I think for me, though, the big concern around cloud is the interoperability of all of these cloud solutions being able, and all these solutions we now have, how they interlocked between each other. And I think for me, a lot of the kind of next generation of cloud is how are we going to make sure that these solutions tie together and work kind of seamlessly.
Thank you, Mark. And Louise, you've had experience at some older, more traditional companies and now at Challenger Bank. What does agile cloud delivery mean to you?
One of the things I was just going to take a little step back on is when we were identifying the business cases, and Mark quite rightly said it's not always a technology solution. You've got a process, you've got technology, but there's a third one, which is policy. And one of the old banks that I worked in when I was doing a transformation program resisted the transformation move into the cloud because they said their policy didn't align to a cloud first policy. So a simple thing is people don't think about, well, the world has moved on. Very much in the long time ago, cloud wasn't well known and recognized, and it wasn't perceived by many banks as being secure. But the world has moved on, and cloud is very secure, and perhaps more secure than carrying around a load of documentations of paper in a bank. So I think people need to think about, changing their policies first, and changing the policy to a cloud policy acceptable. So that was in a legacy bank, and that just gives you an example of that's how difficult it is to move to the cloud, because the fundamental thing is they don't have a cloud policy that's acceptable in the organization. So perhaps you need to look at some of your policies as the world, as technology changes. But as I was saying earlier, moving into a contender bank, cloud first is the strategy. That is the digital technology, and that enables change to happen faster and transformation to happen faster. But for a cloud policy, you need a cloud strategy. This is more for the legacy organizations. And for a cloud strategy, you need to have an IT strategy around what you're going to do with all your applications. Because as Mark said, most legacy organizations have hundreds, maybe not thousands, but hundreds of thousands of applications in some cases. And they need a roadmap of every single one of those applications, whether it's going to be bin, reinvigorate, and keep forever and move to the cloud. So you need to start with that, and then move to the roadmap of how you decommission those applications, because otherwise you're going to have a few things in the cloud and a few things not in the cloud, and you're not going to have the seamless, fully integrated systems that these contender banks have. They have one seamless, fully integrated system. So the legacy organizations need to go on that journey.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Mark.